Good afternoon. My name is Jordan. I work at a fire department, and today I'm going to briefly go through a scenario for some of the things we respond to. So let's imagine this. It's your first day at the fire department, and a tone goes off, standby vehicle accident. Now your mind's racing, you have no idea what's going on. You get on scene, you come to find out there's a vehicle upside down, pinned against a semi-truck. You walk up through the truck, and try to open the doors, but you can't because they're crushed together. Now there's two victims and they're both unconscious, so you need to get inside the vehicle immediately and get them out. So what would you want to do in this situation? In the fire department, we have a procedure called vehicle extrication. To understand vehicle extrication, it's important to know what it is and also some tools you can use to assist the firefighters to get the victim out as soon as possible. Today I'll be covering what vehicle extrication is and also a certain tool called the Hamacho spreader device, which is right here. That will briefly describe me in a little bit, and also how to demonstrate how to work it. So let's begin with what vehicle extrication actually is. In most fire departments today in the U.S., the overwhelming majority of rescue incidents deal with vehicle extrication. Now, according to Fire Essentials, this can deal with automobiles, trucks, motorcycles, or even aircraft colliding into one another. It deals with a pedestrian that's seriously injured, trapped inside a stationary object. Now, extrication takes place, as I said before, with a victim that is seriously injured and cannot get out due to further injuries. Now, since it's a very dangerous situation, proper procedures are very important, and scene size-up is a must. Scene size-up is pretty much when safety and overall operation of extrication takes place. Firefighters must take time and efficiency to ensure all firefighters are protected to prevent further injuries to themselves, the medics, and also the victim that's already seriously injured. They also must determine what tools are needed on scene. Now, this could be simply between a T-tool to break the glass, an axe to bust through the trunk, or in this situation, the spreader device. Now, an example to use the spreader device would be prying in between the doors to bust them off to ensure overall safeness to the medics to get into the vehicle to pull the victim out. So now that I showed you a little bit what the spreader device looks like, I'm going to go ahead and explain some of the capabilities. Now, according to Hamacho Powering website, the spreader device is actually the first Hamacho tool to be available to the fire emergency services. Now, some of the capabilities of the tool is it has a force of pulling and pushing objects into one another to gain access. It also has the ability to gain 32 inches in diameter, so it's a significant about 2.5 feet that can make a difference. Additionally, you can use this tool in prying between doors and houses, corridors and fences, and prying metal inside of a car to gain access to the battery and the victim. Along with power tools that are powered by compressed air and hydraulic fluid. Now, with compressed air, it's such as you need a special type of compressed air hose line, which is right here, and they're also powered by the electric motors, such as a portable generator right here. Now, a common fact about the portable generator is it is the most common resource tool, piece of equipment that firefighters use on scene because it's so convenient to move this back and forth to a location instead of having it on the truck. Now, the portable generator fuels energy. It goes through the special compressed air hose line into the spreader device to allow it to be operable. So now that I showed you what the spreader device actually looks like and some of the pieces of equipment to allow it to be operable to work, I'm going to go ahead and use a step-by-step process on what you would do to make it work. Now, since extrication is a very long, difficult, and ultimately dangerous process, PPE is a must while you're on the fire scene to protect the firefighter's life. You'll need gloves to use, also a helmet, eye protection, and hearing protection. So the first step you want to do is turn the portable generator on. Ensure it works, check the oil. Next step we want to do is connect the high pressure hose into it, let it snap, and connect the spreader device to the other side. Once that happens, turn the on button, and this releases compressed air through the hose line into the spreader device that allows it to open to a V shape and push and pull adducts together. Now, along with the spreader device, there's 3 other basic types of hamartial tools, such as spears, combination tools, and extension rams. All 4 of these pieces of equipment makes the on-scene vehicle extrication overall success. The development of power hamartial equipment overall revolutionized the firefighter emergency services while responding to vehicle accidents, because it allowed medics to decrease the time to gain access to the victim and transport them to a hospital while they're in critical injuries. Now that I've showed you a little bit what the spreader device can do and taught you how to operate it, let's go back over what we learned today. Today we covered briefly on what vehicle extrication is, and also what the spreader device looks like and some of the capabilities and how to operate it in a real-life situation. Now, I understand learning how to use a spreader device is an everyday task, but in the fire department it is a very important piece of equipment, because it can be a matter of life and death for a victim that is seriously injured and potentially save their life. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the video on how to use the piece of equipment. Have a great night.